Hello everyone. Hi everyone. Having gone through the general methods of the preparation of aldehydes and ketones from various sources, now time has come to discuss the properties of aldehydes and ketones. Now, first of all, we'll take up the physical properties of aldehydes and ketones. So these today's video lecture or this video lecture we will discuss the properties of aldehydes and ketones. So first of all, let's start with the physical properties of aldehydes and ketones. Physical properties of aldehydes and ketones. So in this physical property, first of all, let's define the solubility in water. Solubility in water. Now, as you all know, organic compounds are less soluble in water. But if at all organic compounds is soluble in water, the only reason is there is some hydrogen bonding that is possible. Whenever we have hydrogen bond possible with organic compound and water, then we can say the organic compound is soluble in water. But in general, organic compounds are less soluble in water, whereas this is more soluble in organic solvents. Now coming to aldehydes and ketones, these aldehydes and ketones, the lower member aldehydes and ketones are appreciably soluble in water. The reason being, these forms intermolecular hydrogen bond. But if the size of alkyl group increases or as the molecular mass of aldehydes and ketones increases, the solubility decreases because of the increase in hydrophobic hydrocarbon part. Water repelling part is increased. This aldehyde solubility decreases. So the first point is lower members are appreciably soluble in water. Now this solubility of lower members in water, this is due to hydrogen bond. So suppose we have look at this lower member of aldehydes. Let's take this case. Formaldehyde. So we have look at this C double bond O. Now when this is placed in water, this forms hydrogen bond. So we have look at this water, hydrogen of water which is bonded to oxygen. This hydrogen is sandwiched between this electronegative atom. So now look at this. This forms a hydrogen bond. On the other side also. So this, because of the formation of this intermolecular hydrogen bond between water and carbonyl oxygen, we say the lower members are soluble in water. But now look at this. This solubility decreases as the number of carbon atom increases or as the size of alkyl group increases. However, solubility decreases as the molecular mass increases. Or number of carbon atoms increases. Now this decrease in solubility with increase in molecular mass or with increase in carbon atom is due to increase in the hydrophobic alkyl part. So this is the solubility. So whenever we say a particular compound is soluble, so the only reason is that compound will be soluble in water provided if there is a possibility of hydrogen bond. But now look at this, when we compare the solubility of these aldehydes and ketones with those of alcohols, alcohols are more strongly soluble, more soluble in water than that of aldehydes and ketones. So this is solubility in water, but these being organic compound, these are soluble in organic solvents. Being organic compound, they are soluble in organic solvents. So this is the solubility of these compounds in water. Then let's go to the boiling point. Boiling point of these aldehydes and ketones. Now, as we have seen, we have looked at this. This is the carbonyl compound. Now, this carbonyl compound, we have a pi bond between carbon and oxygen. Oxygen is more electronegative than carbon, so the pi electron is shifted to oxygen. Because of this, we have this resonating structure in which oxygen is negatively polarized, carbon is positively polarized. So we have appreciable dipole here. So this results in an appreciable dipole, resultant dipole. Now because of this, the attractive force between this aldehyde or ketone, that is dipole type interaction. Because of this dipole type interaction, we have a stronger attractive force, and because of this stronger attractive force, the boiling point of these aldehydes and ketones are generally high. So now look at this. So therefore, due to dipole interaction, boiling point is high. Now, if I say the boiling point of aldehydes and ketones are normally high, the reason being because of this dipole interaction. So this is the dipole which is being present in the C double bond O. So this has got an attractive force which is known as dipole, two opposite pole. To one molecule, second molecule की बीच में there is a dipole interaction. This dipole interaction is a stronger attractive force, and because of this, to break this stronger dipole interaction, we need to supply more amount of energy, and hence the boiling point of this aldehydes and ketones are not generally high. But when we compare the boiling points of aldehydes and ketones with those of alcohols or with those of ethers, the boiling points of these aldehyde ketones is normally lower than that of alcohols with comparable molecular mass. The reason being, in case of alcohol, we have intermolecular hydrogen bond which is stronger in nature than that of dipole. Whereas when we compare the boiling point of these carbonyl compounds of aldehydes and ketones with those of ethers, then the boiling points of these aldehydes and ketone is greater than that of ethers. The reason being, in case of ether, dipole is less, whereas in case of aldehydes and ketones, we have a stronger dipole. So the interactive force is more in case of aldehydes and ketones. So, but when we compare this with haloalkanes or hydrocarbons with comparable molecular mass, then the boiling points of these aldehydes and ketone is always greater than those compounds. So the point is, when we compare the boiling points of aldehydes or ketones, the boiling point of aldehyde is greater than that of ketones of comparable molecular mass, or simply we say the boiling points of aldehydes and ketones, this is greater than haloalkanes, the boiling points of these aldehydes and ketones, this is greater than ethers. The reason being, now look at this, we have a polarization here. The polarization in case of aldehyde ketone is greater than that of haloalkanes, and the polarization in aldehyde ketone is also greater than that of ether. So therefore we say the boiling points of aldehydes and ketone is always greater than that of ethers or haloalkanes having similar molecular mass. The boiling points of aldehydes and ketone is also greater than that of hydrocarbons having comparable molecular mass. But when we compare the boiling points of aldehydes and ketones with those of alcohols with comparable molecular mass, then the boiling points of alcohols is always greater than that of aldehydes and ketones. The reason being, in case of alcohols we have hydrogen bond. So when we compare the boiling points of aldehyde, ketones, alcohols, hydrogen, ethers, then the order will be the boiling point of alcohols will always be greater than that of aldehyde and aldehyde ketones will be greater than that of ethers, and ethers will be greater than that of hydrocarbons. So combination says the boiling point of alcohol boiling point is greater than aldehyde, which is greater than ketone, which is greater than ethers, which is greater than hydrocarbons of comparable molecular mass, because boiling point also depends on the molecular mass. Now means this is the comparison between different compounds. But if we are having aldehyde, same aldehyde, as the molecular mass increases, the van der Waals attractive force between the molecules also increases, because we are increasing the surface area. As the molecular mass increases, surface area increases, intermolecular attractive force also increases, so the boiling point increases. So the boiling points of an aldehyde series or a ketone series increases as the number of carbon atoms increases. So now this is, so suppose we have this CH3, CH2, 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 OH. So this is alcohol. So the boiling point of this alcohol is greater than that of CH3, CH2, CH2, CH2. Appreciable molecular mass की बात कर रहा हूँ. This is greater than the boiling point of ketone. The boiling point of ketone is greater than, suppose we have this ether. So this ether is having higher boiling point than that of hydrocarbon. So this is how we compare the boiling points of the compounds. So this is the comparison. But if I say within the same series, within the same homologous series, boiling point increases as the atomic mass increases. Within the same homologous series, there is either we have aldehydes or ketone, boiling point increases as the atom molecular mass increases, as the molecular mass increases. So molecular mass increase means as the number of carbon atoms increases. So this is how boiling point changes is the molecular mass changes. Now on the other hand, look at this. If you are having isomeric compound, as the branching increases, intermolecular attractive force decreases, because molecule assumes spherical in nature, and van der Waals attractive force decreases, so the boiling point will decrease. But if we have to compare the boiling point with different functional groups having similar or approximately same molecular mass, then this is the boiling point. So we have to keep this thing in mind. Look at this formaldehyde, the first member of aldehyde, formaldehyde, CH2O, that is formaldehyde. formaldehyde or methanol. At room temperature, this formaldehyde is gas. At room temperature, this is gas. So formaldehyde at normal state, this acts as a gaseous form. So now this formaldehyde is used as an aqueous solution. So if aqueous solution, it is known as formalin. Aqueous solution is known as formalin, that is 40% of this formaldehyde. So normally this formaldehyde being gas, this is stored in the form of formalin, and this formalin is nothing but the aqueous solution of this formaldehyde, which contains 40% of this formaldehyde and the remaining 60% is water. So this is how this formaldehyde is stored. Now apart from this formaldehyde is also in the form of solid. In the form of solid, this is stored as paraformaldehyde. Paraformaldehyde. This is polymeric chain. Polymeric chain. So we have look at this CH2O, and this is the polymeric chain. Now this CH2, this is what we call it. Look at this CH2O, CH2O, CH2. So in solid state, this is stored in the form of paraformaldehyde, which is nothing but a polymeric chain. So if we heat this paraformaldehyde, this gives to formaldehyde, and again this can be easily converted into formaldehyde. And another form of solid in which this formaldehyde is stored is trioxane. It is nothing but a trimer, that is CH2O whole thrice, that is cyclic trimer. So we shall look at this CH2. So this is trioxane trimer. So this formaldehyde, either this is stored in the form of formalin, which is an aqueous solution containing 40% of formaldehyde, or in the form of solid, this is stored as paraformaldehyde, polymeric chain, or in the form of cyclic trimer, that is trioxane. So the moment we require this formaldehyde, this is slightly heated, and on heating this is converted into the gaseous formaldehyde, which can be further used for other purposes. Then the next one, that is acetaldehyde. Acetaldehyde is a liquid, high boiling liquid, which is stored in the form of this cyclic trimer. Similar to this trioxane. So we have look at this CH3O, CH3. So this is the cyclic trimer of this acetaldehyde. Now this is high boiling substance है, इसको हम heat करें तो this breaks down to give you this acetaldehyde, which can be used. So now look at this is the physical state of this. Now the first member is gas, second member is liquid, so this keeps on heating. As the molecular mass increases, the liquid state being changes into solid state. So this is the physical state of some lower member of aldehydes and ketones. Now next, coming to the chemical properties of these aldehydes and ketones, now we'll discuss the chemical properties. So we have gone through the physical properties. Now after this physical properties, the more important that we are going to study is the chemical properties of aldehydes and ketones. That is more important compared to that of the physical properties. Now these aldehydes and ketones undergoes numerous chemical reactions. So these reactions can be classified into two. One is nucleophilic addition reaction, the other one is redox reaction. So First, we'll take up this oxidation and reduction reaction. The first reaction is oxidation. Oxidation of aldehydes and ketones. So, when we compare the ease of oxidation of aldehydes and ketones, aldehydes are more easily oxidizable compared to that of ketones. Means aldehydes can be more easily oxidized than that of ketones. Ease of oxidation, aldehydes is greater than ketones. That means these aldehydes can be easily oxidized to corresponding acid by use of a mild oxidizing agent also, but whereas to oxidize this ketone even by use of strong oxidizing agent, ketones are not susceptible to oxidation, but under vigorous conditions ketones is oxidized, that too by breaking of carbon-carbon bond. So simply we are saying these aldehydes are more easily or more susceptible to oxidation. So now let's take up different oxidation of aldehydes and ketones. So now look at this oxidation of aldehydes. So look at this aldehydes on oxidation. This gives you carboxylic acids. So now look at this. One of very important chemical properties of aldehydes is oxidation. So oxidation gives you acids. Now the same reaction will be considered as a general method of preparation of acids. So acids from aldehyde. So aldehydes on oxidation gives you acid, but this is a general method of preparation of acid also. Now under this we have different oxidizing agents. By use of KMnO4, that is much stronger oxidizing agent, or potassium dichromate. So all aldehydes is oxidized by KMnO4 or dichromate to give you corresponding acid. Suppose look at this, we have this aldehyde. Now this reacts with KMnO4, acidic medium, when this gives you carboxylic acid. Now initially Mn was plus 7, after this reaction Mn changes to plus 2. So this is oxidizing agent which oxidizes aldehyde to acid, and this aldehyde is a reducing agent which reduces Mn from plus 7 to plus 2. Similarly, if we take this aldehyde, this aldehyde when made to react with potassium dichromate K2Cr2O7 in acidic medium, acidified potassium dichromate, when this is also converted into carboxylic acid, and chromium which was in plus 6 oxidation state now changes to chromium plus 3. So now look at this, in this potassium dichromate or KMnO4, this is acting as a very good oxidizing agent which oxidizes aldehydes to give you acids. So this is one. Second, oxidation. Now there are some important name reactions which oxidize aldehydes to corresponding acids. The first reaction is Tollens test. Tollens test, which is also known as silver mirror test. Silver mirror test. Now this is a very important reaction which is used to differentiate pure aldehydes from pure ketones, because this Tollens reagent, a Tollens test, is given only by aldehydes, and ketones does not give this except when we have alpha hydroxy ketones. So other than this, simply we are having a pure ketone, so pure ketone does not undergo this, give this Tollens reagent. So this chemical reaction is used to differentiate between pure aldehydes and pure ketone. Given by aldehydes only. Pure ketones does not give this reaction, does not give the taste. Alpha hydroxy ketones also give this taste. So I am repeating. So this is a taste given by aldehydes only. Pure ketones does not give this taste, but if we have alpha hydroxy ketone, then this will also give you tolerance taste. So otherwise this is a taste which can be used to differentiate aldehydes from ketones. So if suppose some question says give a chemical taste by use of which an aldehyde can be differentiated from ketone, so we can take this risk. So by using this we can differentiate aldehyde from ketone. Now what is happening is this: in this reaction a particular reagent is used which is known as tolerance reagent. So we have this tolerance reagent. So tolerance reagent is ammonical silver nitrate solution. So we have this ammonical silver. This particular complex of silver with ammonia, this is what we call as the tolerance reagent. Now this is prepared from, we take this silver nitrate solution, to this silver nitrate we take this aqueous ammonia. So when silver nitrate is mixed with excess of aqueous ammonia, this is converted into ammoniated silver nitrate solution, and this ammoniated silver complex, this is acting as a reagent. So this is the tolerance reagent. Now look at this: aldehydes are good reducing agent. This will reduce silver in +1 oxidation state. So in this complex silver is in +1 oxidation state. Now look at this: we have this aldehyde is made to react with this reagent, that is tolerance reagent. Now look at this: this solution is prepared in aqueous ammonia, so means solution is basic. So the medium of reaction for this tolerance stage is basic medium, because we are having silver nitrate dissolved in aqueous ammonia taken in excess amount. When this combines to give you this tolerance reagent, that is complex of silver ion with ammonia, and the solution is basic. So now this reacts when this aldehyde is oxidized to give you carboxylic acid, salt, because acid will again combine with base to give you salt, and this silver which was initially in +1 oxidation state is reduced to silver mirror. So this is the reason why this is known as silver mirror test. Plus ammonia gas is released. So now this can be any aliphatic or aromatic aldehyde. So all aliphatic aromatic aldehyde gives this tolerance taste. So in this, what is the thing that we have to keep in mind is all aldehydes give this taste. Ketones does not give this taste, but alpha hydroxy ketones gives this taste. Reagent is tolerance reagent, that is silver nitrate in presence of aqueous ammonia, and when this reacts to give you this complex of silver ion, and this is what we call as tolerance reagent. Now this tolerance reagent is oxidizing agent, this aldehyde is your reducing agent. When this oxidized aldehyde to acid salt and itself is reduced. Now because of the formation of this silver mirror, this silver mirror will be coated on the size of the test tube, and by this we can see our face, that is mirror, plain mirror that we use for our daily life. So simply because of this deposition of silver, this reaction is also known as silver mirror test. So now look at this: all aldehydes, whether this is aliphatic or aromatic. So take this case, we take this formaldehyde with this tolerance reagent, so we get this formic acid salt plus other products will be formed, plus we have Ag deposition. We take this acetaldehyde by use of the same reagent, we have this acetylene plus silver ion is deposited. Now we take this aromatic aldehyde, that is benzaldehyde. So benzaldehyde will be oxidized to benzoic acid salt. So all aliphatic, whether this is aliphatic or aromatic, all aldehydes will be oxidized by Tollens reagent to give you corresponding acids. So this is a very important name reaction which is used to differentiate aldehyde from ketones. Now the third oxidation reaction, this is Felling's test. Felling's test. Felling test. Now in this test we use a solution which is known as Felling solution. Felling solution. This Felling solution is nothing but the complex of copper plus 2 with tartaric acid. So the complex of cupric acid with tartaric acid, this is known as Felling solution. Now this Felling solution contains two. We have this Felling solution. So this is Felling solution A. So Felling solution is copper sulfate aqueous solution. Then we have Felling solution B. Felling solution B is salt of tartarate. Tartaric acid. Now when this A and B is mixed, now this forms a complex between cupric acid and the tartaric acid, and that complex is what they call as Felling solution. Now this Felling solution, we have this cupric acid. Now this cupric acid is a very good oxidizing agent which will oxidize aldehydes and ketones to aldehydes to corresponding acid. Now this Felling test, this Felling solution is milder oxidizing agent, which is much milder oxidizing agent compared to that of Tollens reagent. So this Felling test is given only by aldehyde. Given only by aldehydes. Ketones does not give this test. Even this being a milder oxidizing agent, aromatic aldehydes does not give this test. Aromatic aldehyde does not give this test. Though this is given by aldehyde, but aromatic aldehyde does not give this test. The reason being, in case of aromatic aldehyde, because of resonance, the electrophilic character is here. So this aromatic aldehyde is less reactive because of this resonance coming from this pi electrons of benzene ring. So aromatic aldehyde does not give taste of this Felling test, but this is given by only aliphatic aldehydes. This test is not being given by aromatic aldehyde. There is no question of this test being given by aldehydes. So this is a milder oxidizing agent compared to that of Tollens reagent. So what is happening is, suppose we start with this aldehyde. We take this aldehyde. Now this aldehyde is made to react with this complex of cupric acid which is present in the Felling solution. Now look at this. This solution is basic. Under this condition, now heating is required. Now we take aldehyde. To this we add Felling solution, plus we have small amount of hydroxide ion. Now the solution is heated. When this gives you the salt of carboxylic acid. Now so aldehyde is oxidized to acid. So here this cupric acid is oxidizing agent. This is your reducing agent. So this will reduce cupric to cuprous ion and is converted into cuprous oxide. So this cuprous oxide is red color. So initially आपके पास the color solution color changes to red color. So we take this aldehyde. To this we add Felling solution. Solution is warm. When color changes to red color, the red color is due to the formation of this cuprous oxide. So here copper is in +1 oxidation state. So all aldehydes except aromatic aldehyde will give this test. So the reagent is Felling test, Felling solution. Felling solution is a complex of cupric acid with tartaric acid. Felling solution is made by combination of two solutions. Felling solution A, which is nothing but aqueous solution of copper sulfate. Felling solution B is the tartaric acid. इसको mix करने से we get this Felling solution. So The reagent which is used is cupric ion, which is present in the solution. This is oxidizing agent, oxidizes aldehyde to acid and itself is reduced to +1 option, and this is the red color. Similarly, now look at this. The other one is Benedict's solution. Benedict's test. This is exactly identical to that of Fehling test. This is also a much milder oxidation agent compared to that of Tollens reagent. So this Benedict and Fehling is specific, given only by aldehydes, and aromatic aldehydes does not give Fehling as well as Benedict. In this we use a solution that is known as Benedict solution. So Benedict solution is nothing but complex of cupric ion with citric acid. Complex of cupric ion with citric acid is known as Benedict solution. Cupric ion with tartaric acid is known as Fehling solution. So in this we have look at this RC double bond OH, this is aldehyde, and we have look at this cupric ion, alkaline medium, when this gives you carboxylic acid salt plus cuprous oxide is formed. Again there is a formation of red color precipitate. So in both the case exactly same reaction takes place. The only difference is we have a complex of copper with citric acid in case of Benedict. In case of Fehling, we have tartaric acid. So both these are mild oxidizing agent compared to that of Tollens reagent, which is given only by aliphatic aldehydes. So this is also oxidation. So all these are named reaction, and another very important oxidation reaction, that is haloform reaction. Haloform reaction. So this haloform reaction is a name of the product. Haloform is the name of product formed in this reaction. Name of product, and this haloform is CHX3. If X is chlorine, we say chloroform, bromine, bromoform, iodine, iodoform. Now for this haloform reaction, the reagent used for this reaction is halogen in presence of alkali, that is O minus. Now when halogen is mixed with OH, this gives you X minus plus XO minus. This is hypohalous ion. This is an oxidizing agent which oxidizes aldehydes and ketones to corresponding acid. Now this haloform reaction, so we have this reagent is halogen presence of alkali. Now halogen combines with alkali to give you hypohalous ion, which is an oxidizing agent. Now for this reaction, a specific requirement for this reaction, and the specific requirement for this reaction, this is given by methyl keto group. Means organic compounds containing methyl ketone, or those functional groups which can be converted into methyl ketone. This is a specific reaction for methyl ketones. Then this reaction can be used to identify, differentiate methyl ketones from rest of the ketones or aldehydes. So specific is a chemical test to differentiate methyl keto group. Methyl keto means we have this CH3 C double bond O. This is what they call as methyl keto group. Or if we have any polychloride species which can be converted to methyl keto, then we get this haloform reaction. So this is what they call as haloform reaction or haloform test. Now let's see the reaction. So we have now look at this. Suppose we have this CH3. Now this is made to react with X2 in presence of alkali. Now halogen in presence of alkali, this is converted into hypohalous ion, which is a mild oxidizing agent. This will oxidize this. After oxidation, now look at it. This is converted into salt of carboxylic acid plus haloform is formed. And if you look at this portion of the molecule, carbonyl group, which is converted into acid salt, whereas the methyl group of this methyl ketone, this particular group, this is converted into haloform. So it's a very important reaction, and how to write the reaction is very simple. Methyl group is converted into haloform, means we have to break this. Methyl and ketonic bond has to break, and methyl is converted into haloform, and the ketonic group is converted into acid group. So this is haloform reaction. In this haloform reaction, in most of the time we use iodine because the product iodoform is a solid which can be easily differentiated with our naked eyes. Otherwise, chloroform is a liquid. Bromoform is also solid, but this is partially soluble solid. So normally we take this iodoform because iodoform is an insoluble solid. So let's see the reaction. So we have seen the specific requirement for this reaction is this is given only by methyl ketone or groups that can be converted into methyl ketone. So let's take this example. So we take this CH3 C double bond OH. So we have look at this methyl ketone. This on reaction this, suppose I take this iodine in presence of alkali. So when this is converted into iodoform HI3, so this is converted into iodoform and this part is converted into salt of formic acid. So we have to break this bond. Take this CH3 C double bond O CH3 acetone. Again we have to get this methyl ketone or methyl ketone. We have to take any one. So let's take this. So this bond has to break. After breaking, this is converted into iodoform. If I use this iodine or in presence of alkali, the second part is converted into salt of acid. Take this CH3 C double bond O CH2 CH3. Now look at this. This part is methyl ketone, but this part is not methyl ketone. Reaction cannot take place at this side. Reaction has to take place at this side. So now take this bromine in presence of alkali. So this gives you bromoform plus this is converted into 3 carbon acid CH3 CH2 COO minus. Take this CH3 CH2 double bond O CH2 CH3. Now look at this. This does not contain methyl group. This is also ethyl. This is also ethyl. This does not contain methyl group. So if I take this bromine in presence of alkali, so no reaction will take place. That means bromoform will not be formed because none of this contains methyl ketone. So specific requirement for this methyl ketone. So now look at this. Suppose this is 3-pentanone. This is 3-pentanone. Now if I take this pentanone, so if I say this is 2-pentanone and 3-pentanone. Now give a particular test to differentiate between this 3-pentanone and 2-pentanone. So the test will be 3-pentanone does not give haloform test, whereas this 2-pentanone containing methyl ketone will give haloform test. So this on reaction with bromine what alkali gives you bromoform. Bromoform यहाँ पे बनेगा and this is converted into acid CH3 CH2 CH2 COOH. So this is the chemical test to distinguish methyl ketone from rest of the ketone. We can also take this aromatic group. We take this. So we also have look at this methyl ketone. So this on reaction with this chlorine in presence of OH, this gives you chloroform. So this part is converted into benzoic acid salt and this is converted into chloroform. So this is a very important reaction, named reaction, which is also oxidation, and this reaction is used to differentiate methyl ketone from rest of the aldehydes and ketones which does not have methyl ketone group. So this is a very important named reaction. After this oxidation reaction, we take up this reduction reaction. So aldehydes and ketones can also be reduced. So when aldehydes and ketone is reduced, we get either hydrocarbons or we get alcohols. So first take up this partial reduction. Partial reduction. So partial reduction of aldehyde ketones. So aldehydes on reduction gives you alcohols. So all aldehydes on reduction gives you alcohols, whereas so aldehydes on reduction gives you primary alcohol. But if we start with ketone, ketones on reduction gives you secondary alcohols. So the product is aldehyde ketones on reduction gives you alcohol, aldehyde on reduction gives you primary alcohol, ketones on reduction gives you secondary. Now look at this. This reduction may be carried out by use of catalyst or this catalytic reduction or by use of reducing agent. This is, we can have catalytic reduction, that means hydrogen in presence of platinum or nickel or palladium. So when we have this aldehydes and ketones reduced by use of catalyst, that is reaction of these compounds with hydrogen in presence of catalyst. Now this catalytic reduction by use of catalyst is a very strong reducing agent. If along with this aldehyde, if any other reducible functional group be present, then that functional group will also be reduced. The second is by use of reducing agent. By use of reducing agent. So in this reducing agent, we can take the help of lithium, aluminum hydride. We can take the help of sodium borohydride. So these reducing agents also reduces this aldehydes and ketones to give you corresponding alcohols. So now look at this. We take this CH3, C double bond O, H. These on reduction, either we take this hydrogen in presence of platinum, so we say this is CH3, CH2, OH. Now if I take this and this is made to reduce with lithium, aluminum hydride, then also this gives you the primary alcohol. So either we can reduce by this reducing agent or by use of this catalytic reduction. Similarly, take this case, we take this ketone either by reduction with hydrogen in presence of platinum or by use of this sodium borohydride or lithium aluminum hydride. In both the case, this gives you secondary alcohol. So simply saying, these aldehydes and ketones on reduction by use of catalyst or by use of reducing agent, this is reduced to give you alcohol, aldehyde to primary, ketones to secondary. We can take any aldehyde or any ketone, but these aldehydes and ketone will always be reduced to give you alcohol if you are using the partial reduction process. But if we are having complete reduction, then the product will be different. So the second one is complete reduction. Complete reduction. This complete reduction means we have this C double bond of aldehyde ketone. This is to be converted into CH, that is alkane. So this is what we call as complete reduction. So complete reduction of aldehydes and ketones gives you alkane, that is hydrocarbon. So now okay, this is a chemical property of aldehyde ketone, but we can use as a method of preparation of alkanes. So let's take this. Under this we have different reaction. First, reduction with amalgamated zinc amalgam in presence of HCl. a reduction of aldehyde ketones with zinc amalgam in presence of HCl. This reaction is known as Clemmensen reduction. So Clemmensen reduction is reduction of aldehydes and ketones to give you alkanes, and the reason is amalgamated zinc in presence of HCl. So now look at this. We have look at this aldehyde. This aldehyde on reaction with zinc amalgam HCl, this is converted into CH3 alkane. Take this RC double bond O R. By use of this same reagent zinc amalgam HCl, this is converted into again alkane. So we take any aldehyde or any ketone, this is always reduced to give you alkane. Take this. We have cyclohexanone reacts with this zinc amalgam HCl. When this gives you cyclohexane. So aldehyde ketones can be completely reduced to alkane by use of this Clemmensen reduction, that is amalgamated zinc in presence of HCl. So the reaction is in acidic medium. So this reduction can be carried out if we have another group which is sensitive to acid. So that particular group sensitive to base, then we can carry out this acidic medium reaction. There is also basic medium reduction. The basic medium reduction, the reagent is hydrazine N2H4 in presence of alkali. This is hydrazine. Compound is known as hydrazine. So the reagent used for this reduction is hydrazine in presence of alkali, and this reaction is known as Wolff-Kishner reduction. So difference between these two is Wolff-Kishner reduction, basic medium is required. That means this is used for those aldehyde ketones which is sensitive to acid. Reagent is hydrazine. In case of Clemmensen reduction, medium is acidic, reagent is amalgamated zinc. So we have looked at this RC double bond OH. By use of this N2H4 in presence of OH minus, this gives you RCH3. We take this RC double bond OR. By use of the same reagent, this is converted into RCH2R. This is the basic medium reduction. That means if I have to reduce this CH3, C double bond CH, CH2, CH4. Now this is to be converted into this group CH3, CH double bond CH, CH2, CH4. तो इसको रिड्यूस करने के लिए क्या यूज करेंगे? We take this N2H4 in presence of alkali. Oh, sorry. This is to be reduced to CH3. Now look at this. In this particular reaction, I cannot use this HCl because this we have this double bond. C double bond can react with alkene. तो alkene यहाँ से भी react करेंगे तो this reaction में आपके पास acidic medium cannot be used. So those particular reagent which is sensitive to acid, we have to carry out the reaction in basic medium. So either by acidic medium reduction or by basic medium reduction, these aldehydes and ketones can be completely converted into alkanes.